4 o'clock in the morning. This pussycat has decided to lay on the folded washing. I'm resurrecting the fire because it's 2 degrees outside. We're walking through a dark kitchen because I turn all the lights off when we're not in rooms now. Into the bunker. I'm going to show you Mark's latest painting. Such a lot of detail. He's so clever. I don't know how he does it. He started anew. This was his Christmas present to himself. There's a bit of a reflection on it. I can't get rid of that. There. So he's just started building that. And I did a vlog for him last night. Of him just talking about it. We had a lovely, I'm going to move to, I'm going to stay in here. I'm going to stay in here, I think. We had, there's a bit of a story of 2 meals. On Thursday evening, we went out for a meal at a local, I think it's a pizzeria. I call it a restaurant, but I think it's a pizzeria. They do some really good pizzas, and I'm not a pizza lover, so I normally have Caesar salad. Pardon me. I normally have Caesar salad, but because it's winter, I thought I'd have something else. So I had the bolognese, and they just serve such enormous portions. It's not France. It's not French. It's like she came out with a bowl of bolognese that was enough for 3 people. It was way too much, and there was no parmesan with it. I had to ask for the parmesan, and it wasn't special really. It wasn't what I would call bolognese. And Mark had pizza, and he really enjoyed his pizza, but they are too big. They always offer to wrap up the pizza, what you've left, to bring home, so they know that they overserve their portions. I just wish they'd cut their portion sizes down. So yesterday morning we went out. We met up with Cleo and Etienne and went to Lizzie's for coffee, and then we all went down into town to have a meal, have lunch. And well, it was a really lovely meal. It was, I think it was a soup. It was a vegetable soup, which wasn't particularly special. We all had menu du jour. It's a vegetable soup, which wasn't particularly special. But the main course was saumon in, I thought it was a mousse. I thought it was a salmon mousse, but it was pureed potato mixed, so salmon and potato. So I was expecting something cold, and it was hot, and it was a bit weird at first to have hot because I was expecting mousse. Oh, it was really yummy, and it was with saffron cream sauce. So I'm going to try and replicate that one day, and then a little bit of salad with it. And then the dessert was apple tart with a scoop of ice cream, and the apple tart was really lovely. It was really fine, really delicate. It wasn't too much, because I didn't think, after having the meal the night before, I didn't think I'd be able to eat this meal so much at lunchtime. I mean, I left half the soup, and I thought I'm probably not going to eat the dessert, but it was all just enough. So we had a really lovely 2 or 3 hours together. Lizzie's French is brilliant, and she doesn't realise how good her French is. But we all had an enjoyable time. It's been busy this week. It's felt really busy. I've had a lot of French this week, which is unusual because we were with Cleo and Etienne on Wednesday, and then we were there at art on Thursday, and then we met them yesterday morning. There was a lot of French, which it used to, years ago, that used to really make me tired. It used to wear me out, like an hour of French, and I was tired, and I'm not now. I don't get tired. I think Cleo said yesterday, we were talking about something, and she said, but when you get tired, I went, no, I don't, not now, I don't get tired. It's a full moon, it's a wolf moon apparently tonight. I didn't sleep so well last night, and I'm awake tonight. I shall go back to bed in a minute. I'd slept really, I think I've had about, 2.25 hours, but I was laying on my side, and have got at the moment where I've eaten too much Christmas food. I'm getting dyspepsia if I'm laying on my side, and I fell asleep and into a dead sleep, and then woke up with really uncomfortable sort of like heartburn in my throat. So I've got up. I'm sorting that out. I'm going to go back to bed in a minute. Yeah. Chicken. The black chicken that I hatched all those months ago, back in May, who I think, because she had two, first of all, I had to bring her in and hatch her because she had been kicked off and was sort of gradually dying in the shell. And then when I took her back to the mother, to the hen, several hours later, and put her underneath the hen, when I went back, I found her again being sort of half abandoned, and she was sort of being squashed into the ground, and we thought that she'd lost her eye, and so brought her back and resurrected her. And I do believe, and I think I say now and again, I do think that she's got I can only explain it as I would if I were talking about a person like a learning disability, and so I think she's a bit slow. I think that she lost some oxygen to her brain. She always behaves very differently to everybody else, and she's always a bit slower than everybody else, or hangs back, and it's just the behaviour's different. So yesterday morning when they came out, we've got Mrs. Gold Brahma who's gone broody. So I picked Mrs. Gold Brahma up and carried her and went and put her in the run that I can separate off and close her in. So it's like she had no access to anything but water in there, nowhere to get comfortable, nowhere to settle down and get broody. But as I took her in there, this black hen wandered into. So I thought, well, it doesn't matter. So they're both in there, closed them in there. We went down yesterday evening to let them back out and let put everybody to bed. She, the black hen, is caught through the smallest of holes near the door, next to the door that I open and close to let them in there. And she's stuck, and she's been there for hours because there's loads of poo where her bum was, and she's got a wing through and her head's through, and she's really struggling. I mean, she's not struggling. She probably struggled like mad for ages. So her beak's opening and closing or whatever. So we'll untangle her, get her out, take her in, carry her in, hold her for a bit, and then put her down with everybody else to get cool. And she was doing that. I'm sure she'll be fine, but for goodness sake, I don't think another hen would have tried to do that. Especially if she was in there with another, with a hen. It wasn't like she was the only one left behind. She was left with another hen. So I shall have to be careful if I do that again this morning, because I do really want to try and stop this hen from being broody. But it's trying to get her in there without the others following me. So we've got a quiet weekend. Nothing planned, although I do need to go and get some. We eat for our second meal of the day. So we only have 2 meals a day. Our second meal of the day I buy, it's rye bread. It's big, sort of long slices of rye bread bio organic rye bread. Is it Bjorn, or I can't remember how you pronounce the mark, but I buy that. It's got lots of cereals in it, but it's basically rye bread, and we have that, a couple of slices of that toasted, and I've run out. And if I need to go replace that, otherwise I'll end up making bread, which is not good for us. So sorry. Yeah, so we need to go out and do that. But otherwise, quiet weekend. Mark will be doing his ambulance. It's from the film Ice Cold in Alex, and he goes through the text. He goes through the TV guide on the TV every day and chooses what he's going to watch and looks to see what's coming up. And this was on, so we sat and watched it yesterday evening. So he's done a bit of research by watching the film, and yeah, so that's what's happening. That's what's happened. That's what's happening, and they still haven't managed to vote in anybody to be speaker in America. Lots of people have explained why to me, and I can see and understand why. I can understand why. And it's really bad, isn't it? It's really bad when politicians, it's all about them and nothing to do with the people they're serving. It's really bad. As somebody yesterday or the day before nominated Trump, and a 6-year-old child has shot a teacher. How the fuck did that happen? I'm not going to say anything about guns because somebody already upset with me because I think that all Americans are racist and whatever, and I don't. It's not all Americans. Just as I don't think all Americans are dickheads with guns, but I think a lot of Americans are dickheads with guns, and I think many Americans are racist. The pussycat thinking I'm talking to her. Okay. So this is your 4 o'clock in the morning update.